Good morning. Happy Friday the 13th. I hope you aren't trichodecaphobic, which just means that you have an irrational fear of the number 13. I personally love Friday the 13th. I have a beloved aunt who was born on Friday the 13th, and she says that the 13th of the month is always very lucky for her. However, when it falls on a Friday, it's extra lucky because she was born on Friday the 13th, and she was always raised that it was a good thing. We do our thing every day. We go about our magic, and we go about our whatever it is that we do, and we create routine. And routine has power to it. It may not be a healthy routine. It may be a very healthy routine. It may be boring, but it's powerful because we get sucked right into doing that day in, day out, day after day. What routines have you set for yourself? A lot of times we create memorial or ceremony and ritual on special events or special days, and they draw up such an emotion in us that it's powerful, it's tangible. Something like what we had this week in the United States, especially in New York. We had the anniversary of September 11th, 2001, and this is still a very raw, very emotional memory for so many people because the ongoing devastation, we still have people who are getting sick. They're still getting to the point where they can't function in their life anymore because of the cancers. And personally being part of one of the services that was responding to that original event and continue to suffer consequences of rushing in while others rushed out, I see how many people are negatively impacted, devastatingly negatively impacted. And every year we have this memorial ceremony, so no matter what routine we've gotten into as a coping mechanism, when we get closer to the anniversary and we know that we have to acknowledge it, choose to or choose not to participate in anything, but we're still acknowledging it, for some people it's very difficult, it's very painful. And I've been trying to reclaim that energy for myself these past few years and doing different things. This year I created a healing ceremony, and I actually inadvertently, I just opened it as an open invite, and I didn't tell people why I was having a meditative paint party on September 11th in the afternoon. For me, it was because I wanted to do something different. And I ended up attracting a group of people who had all in their own way volunteered down there and responded down there. And it was very therapeutic for them to be able to tell their story in just here, my backyard space, while painting. When we create ceremony, we hold space and let magic happen. And sometimes there might be tears, and sometimes there might be something else, but it's usually powerful when we direct it. Tonight's full moon, and you could do your magic in your working any day of the month, any night of the week, any hour of the day. But when we all get together and we are mindful that it is a unique, in the course of a year, full moon. It's not only the last moon of summer, it's very close to the moon. Looks even bigger now in the harvest season because it's a little bit closer. And couple it with being a Friday the 13th, and you've got so many people tapping in and thinking about this that you're going to be able to have more energy that's being raised. We've been thinking about it as soon as we saw the first notification pointing out that not only is it a full moon and a harvest moon and a blood moon or any of these other things, but that it's also Friday the 13th. You choose how you get to create your ritual. You choose how you get to create your ceremony, but you do have all this excitement tapping in. We have so many different days like this. We have every day we create food for ourselves, or we at least nourish ourselves, whether it's something quick grab and go, or we're just making a quick protein shake, or we're actually creating a meal and sitting down. To some families have one night of the week where they make sure that they sit down together and have a full meal together so that they can have that experience. Growing up, that was Sunday dinner. And then you take that and extrapolate it into an even grander, then you have holiday dinners. For some families, it's Rosh Hashanah, or the American Thanksgiving, or Christmas Eve. There are all these big feasts that we create for each other, creating a dumb supper for the Halloween season for Samhain. It takes the simple act of nourishing oneself and creating a meal with family and friends and turns it into a very powerful ceremony. So that's the difference between routine and ceremony or ritual. Now, you can change your routine and make it more productive, more powerful by creating ceremony. Create a moment for yourself in each day where you're going to do this thing that is more beneficial for you, your health, your magic, and get into the routine. Schedule it, put it on your calendar, make specific time for it, whether it's making an alternative to your morning coffee or your morning tea. I had to give up caffeine. I've switched to using cacao, so even though I'm not using the full ceremonial dose every morning, because that's a lot stimulant for my poor little heart, but I do make, a small portion for myself, and I turn it into a daily ceremony. Little things. I went from being extremely active with the physical type of job that I had to being completely incapacitated and having to learn how to heal from that. And now they say the body at rest stays at rest, until the body at motion stayed in motion, but the body at hard rest stayed at rest. Yeah, so I had to actually create ritual and ceremony about getting up and getting moving. I had to schedule personal appointments for myself where I would spend 2 minutes or 3 minutes at a time just getting moving. Once that became habitual, it became routine, and then I could create a new ceremony to start moving forward something bigger. So I wasn't supposed to be able to walk again, and I am. That's with a lot of help from physical therapists and a lot of determination. But magic is the same way. Healing is the same way. It takes a lot of effort and a lot of determination, and just like it was very painful for me to learn how to walk again, and it was very painful for me to learn new ways to deal with grief, and I promise you, I'm certain, every time I need to deal with grief in a new way, it's probably going to have to learn a new way to cope with it. But we create ceremony, we create ritual to help us create routine and habit. So, how are you working your magic? Because life is magical, and so are you. And I have faith that you can create whatever you need for yourself. My inbox is always open. If you need a little cheerleader or a little support or a few ideas, I can't do the work for you though. You gotta do it for yourself. However, I hope that you do, because you are worth it. Have a beautiful day, and I'll talk to you again soon. Bye for now.